Hey there, comic book fans. I'm back from the comic shop again this week. Pretty light week at the comic shop. 4 comics, 3 were on my pull list, and I pulled the first issue off the shelf, and one of the ones from my pull list was from last week. My shop got shorted. First, let's show you my museum top of the printer books of the week. We've got Capital Comics Whisper number 2 and Justice League of America number 190. This is a Brian Boland cover there on Justice America. This is one of the first, I was a Marvel kid. This probably came out in 1980, this Justice League. I really didn't like DC comics, especially, late 70s DC comics aren't really very good, but I remember this cover catching my eye, so it's one of the first. I started buying DC comics regularly when Wolfman and Perez went to the Teen Titans. And I think Perez took over. I don't know if he drew the inside of this. Let's look. But Brian Boland drew the cover. That got my attention, I remember. I still like this cover. I don't think Perez was... Perez drew some issues in the 190s. And look at the inside. This is Rich Buckler and Barry Smith. So it's not Perez inside. But it's got that striking cover. So that's why I picked this up way back then, is for the striking cover. And I probably noticed when Perez took over like 192, 193, and I think he went all the way through 200. I don't know how much further he went from 200. But that was a pretty good Perez run. And this one, this is funny. Whisper number 2. Who drew this? Rich Dorscheid. I think he was the colorist. Was it Rich Larson? I think it was Rich Larson was the guy's name. Let me double check on that too. But Rich Larson, Larson. But it's funny. I have. When did this come out? 83. 83. March 83. I have a whole bunch of issues of this. And about, 5-6 years ago, I tried to reread it for the first time since the 80s, and it didn't hold up very well. I mean, I liked it back then. I was in high school in 1983, and there weren't a lot of alternative comics. I'd just started going to the comic shop. My first comic shop opened in 81, right? The summer I turned 15. And I think that when I turned 16 was when I started going regularly, because my friend Rob got his license in the spring of 82. So we probably started going to the comic shop regularly in 82, around the spring, summer of 82. So I was looking for all the indie stuff I could get. And this was pretty good at the time. I enjoyed it, but rereading it a few years later, I only made it about 3 issues before I gave up and went, you know what? I'm okay not rereading Whisper. Now I've got all these Whisper issues on my shelf doing nothing. So, what do we have here? Vampirella Year 1 on our comic shop news. Okay. Oh, look at that little big-eyed Disney Vampirella. I always enjoy looking through comic shop news each week. Oh, this looks like it's one with a bunch of codes. I just told my, there's the one. I just told my comic shop owner to order me that one. The anthology by Albatross, and also the new Terry Moore Parker Girls. I don't know if that's in this one or not. Don't know. One of them be under T for Terry or P for Parker Girls. Let's see. T-E. Terry Moore Sketchbook. Nope, that's all we got. $20. Must be a trade. But anyway, I put the new Terry Moore Parker Girls on my pull list and that Albatross anthology comic on my pull list. Let's see what else. Let's see what the 4 comics I got this week are. And we've got Harlan Cowboy, Cruel to be Kin. I haven't read a ton of Harlan Cowboy. Well, there isn't a ton of Harlan Cowboy. I think I got the last collected edition. I only have 1 or 2 of the original issues around, but I figured I'd get this one. I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood for some Harlan Cowboy by Jeff Darrow. And his Jeff Darrow, Dave Stewart on colors. Nate Picos on letters. Oh, and a whole bunch of people on flats. 4 people doing color flats. Guess it takes a little extra attention to Jeff Darrow's detailed artwork. But I'm sure I'll enjoy it. It's very visual stuff. There's not always a lot to read in Harlan Cowboy, at least the stuff I've read. And here's the one that must have been shorted last week, because it was out last week, but my shop didn't get it. Norse Mythology, number 4. I was just watching Sleepy Reader's comic book countdown. He had this at number 2 out of his 12 or so comics. It's always good. Only 2 issues left. This is 4. We only have 5 and 6 left of Volume 3. I don't know if there's going to be a Volume 4. I'd heard Volume 3 was the last one, but I don't know. This one's about Loki, I think. They're just so well done, these stories. Who does this one? Neil Gaiman did the original novel that Craig Russell is adapting, and Craig Russell is doing the script and layouts. And looks like the Galen Showman is doing the art. Looks like he's working over Craig Russell's layout, so there looks to be a bit of Craig Russell in this drawing too. He's really doing a Craig Russell thing here, so that's interesting. They don't all always do that. Let's see, what else did I get? Some Urusagi Yojimbo with, what is this, a 4-tailed tiger. This is the regular book, so we get a Stan Sakai cover. On the reprints, we get other people doing Usagi stuff. But Usagi's always good. Let's see, does it tell us? That's where it usually tells us the story name and how many parts it is. But we got a tiger tail over it. The Long Road, this doesn't say any parts in it, so it just might be a done in one. There's Usagi with his cousin. His name I haven't learned yet, even though I've said it a few times. Still not in my memory. Always good. Stan Sakai's a master. There's only A and A+ Usagi Yojimbos, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this. And let's see, the last one I picked off the shelves. I Hate This Place. Who's doing it? Kyle Starks, Art Yom Toplin, and Lee Lowridge. Artym Toplin. Okay. Issue 1. Pretty neat cover. This was one I remember when I saw it previewed. I was on the fence about whether I should get it or not, and I ended up not pre-ordering it. But then I think on Facebook, I follow Image Comics on Facebook, and they had, this comic is out this week. I'm like, I'll look for it on the shelf, because I knew I only had 3 comics. So I'm like, I'll look through that one and see if I'd like it. And one of the things it says is for the fans of something in Homesick Pilots. So I'm a fan of Homesick Pilots. Why not check it out? Oh, look at that crazy zombie guy. What is it about? I don't remember, but I'll give it a read. There you go, my 4 comics. I'll show you a little bit of my artwork. What am I working on here? First of all, working on another big ink drawing that's only part way done. Got a lot of work to do on that one still. Going to add a lot of textures and things. But that's the first big ink drawing I'm working on since almost a year. I was just looking at the dates of my old ones. June 6th, 2021 was when I finished my last big ink drawing. It was almost a year since I've done. Last summer and fall, I spent a lot of time doing painting. 5 paintings I think I made, mostly through the summer, a little bit into the fall. So I didn't work on any big ink drawings. I never quite got back to them to right now. So that's what I'm working on. If you want to follow more of my work, click on the link below to my Patreon. You can see more stuff. And there's Dreams of Things 138. I just colored this one. I've had a lot of 3 people looking at stuff lately. The last few Dreams of Things, and this is our one with these 3 people with they were kind of normal looking to begin with, but of course then I colored them half one color, half another, and they've got numbers on their forehead. That's a strange dream. And then this is the one I penciled. This once again. We got three people looking at us out from some strange landscape. This one was got lots of room for color, not a lot of black and texture in there. That's like this big ink drawing Might look like it's kind of done, as this one does, but since there's not any color going in this, I'm going to be adding a lot more texture to the backgrounds and things. Probably not the face, so the face stands forward a little more. And I might do something more with this water down here, but I'm not 100% sure yet. But you'll see that next week when it's finished. Another little big ink drawing. It's amazing that a year has slipped by without me doing a big ink drawing. All right, so there you go. Some art, some comic books. You guys have a good week out there.